While everyone online is currently preaching that you need a personal brand if you have any hope of building a successful business, I've actually generated 40 million online ignoring that advice and haven't even posted on social media in the last 30 days. In fact, I made my first $1 million online without wasting years posting about my life on social media, without a website, without a team, and it was just using these 4 simple strategies that I'm going to show you in this video. This first training point is actually going to show you how there's a much faster, simpler, and more profitable way to build a brand, because the truth is you don't need a personal brand, you need a better kind of brand. If you think about what a personal brand actually is, it's built around you, your personality, your lifestyle, your opinions, and your story. People follow because of who you are, and that creates a huge problem. You're likely stepping into a space where there are already businesses with massive personal brands. For example, if you're in the business space, you've got people like Alex Hormozi, Stephen Bartlett, and countless others who have spent years building attention and trust and the audience, and so how are you supposed to compete with that? Sadly, the only way is to post constantly, spend years building content, speak on stages, and slowly try to become known in your space, and that takes a really, really long time. But here's the better way. Instead of a personal brand, you need to build a completely different type of brand, one that's far easier to create. We need a brand that isn't built around you, your lifestyle, or your personality. Instead, it's built around your expertise, your knowledge, and your ability to solve a specific problem. That way, people don't follow you because you're you, they follow you because they trust the value that you'll provide and believe it can help them to get a result. This works so well because it's far easier to build this specific type of brand rather than a personal brand. In fact, the other 3 strategies in this video will build on each other, making it easier and easier for you to be able to replicate this. So how exactly do you do this starting now? Well, the type of brand we're going to be talking about here is an authority brand. And one of the most important factors in any brand, personal or authority, is the story. But there's a huge difference between them both. Instead of building a personal brand around an origin story where you talk about your life, your journey, your challenges, and everything you've been through, instead you need to build an authority brand around what's called a positioning story. A positioning story isn't telling everything, it's about telling the right things. So in the planning stage of your positioning story, instead of starting with yourself, we start thinking about your ideal client. Who are they? What are they struggling with right now? What have they already tried? What frustrations are they dealing with? And most importantly, what outcome are they trying to achieve? Then you work backwards and you look at your own experience, knowledge, and results, and you only pull out the parts of your story that directly connect to their situation. So now you're not just telling your story for the sake of it, you are telling a story that feels like a mirror to the person who's listening. They hear it and think, that's exactly where I am, that's exactly what I've been through, and that's exactly where I want to get to. And that's what builds the authority, because it's no longer about you, it's about them, just told through your lens and your past experience. So forget the age-old origin story and instead use a positioning story in your marketing message, your content, and your sales process. So if we have an authority brand, you're probably wondering, well, how do you position the brand in front of the right people? And so in this second training point, I want to show you how to build an authority brand without ever needing to post on social media and without even needing a team. And most importantly, how to instantly get in front of those who will connect with your authority brand instead of waiting years for it to happen by just posting aimlessly on social media. Because if you want to build a personal brand, you have to be constantly in front of your audience by posting all the time, staying top of mind, and being visible every single day. And I don't know about you, but I find that really, really difficult. I don't want to do it, especially when you've got clients to serve, a business to run, a life outside of your phone. It's just not the lifestyle that I want. So instead of being chained to social media, I've been using a strategy to get in front of the right people immediately without guessing if my posts are working and waiting months before I change tactic. Instead of posting every single day for the next 6 to 12 months, hoping for the right people to eventually see your content, what if you could take one video and put it directly in front of your ideal audience for just $5? This way, you're not waiting anymore, guessing if the content was good, crossing your fingers and hoping that someone sees it, or even worse, paying with your time, which in the long run is an even more costly asset to use up. This is exactly what I've done to generate close to 20 million online. And clients of mine like Leon, who's made $18,000 with their coaching, Tom, who signed their 5th high-ticket client in 2 weeks, and Magdalena, who generated 54,000 in August last year using these strategies. So here's the exact way we do this, and it's just so simple. We take very basic pieces of content and we run them as paid ads. All you have to do is record a simple 60-second selfie-style video, just a clear message filmed on your phone. And by the way, if you want a script for this, it's been waiting here awkwardly on my lap for a little while now. It's called the 60-second script, and it'll tell you exactly what to say and do, it's upside down, in 60 seconds to speak to the right audience in the right way and drive them to action. It's part of my 7-figure resource bundle. We've got a bunch of incredible resources just like this. The link to that and all the others is in the description box. Tell me where to send it. They're my free gifts to you. So then once you've recorded one of these ads, you upload it to platforms like Meta as an ad and you let the algorithm do the work. You don't need perfect targeting. These platforms are now incredibly good at finding your ideal audience for you, which means within 30 minutes of creating that video, you could already be in front of the exact people that you want to reach. And if it doesn't work, you don't have to wait months to find that out. You tweak it, improve, and test again immediately. So I don't know about you, but I'd rather spend $5 today and guarantee real data from my ideal audience than waste months posting aimlessly on social media, just hoping it pays off. So what if you don't want to post endlessly on social media and you don't want to spend any money up front? Well, for the third strategy, I want to show you a way to piggyback off other people's audiences, meaning that you can leverage people who have already spent years building their audience and you can use that audience to promote your own products. But here's the key thing. We don't just want to go out and get featured on any old podcast, because I don't know about you, I'd rather get in front of an audience that will actually generate sales for my business, not just exposure. And so what we want is a way to turn attention into revenue. This was a huge part of my strategy when I first started. In fact, with my very first online business, I made $1 million without an audience, a website, social media, or even this YouTube channel. And this was the first strategy that I used. The best way to do this is with a joint venture, where you partner with someone in your industry who already has the audience that you want, and they promote your offer to their audience. But there is a specific way to do this, which I'll just explain in a moment. Now you might be thinking, well, why would someone do that? What's in it for them? And this is where everything we've been talking about becomes important, because when you have an authority brand, you have value to offer and a clear problem that you can solve. So your job is simple. You show them that you can deliver value to their audience, because if you can do that, they're not taking a risk. They're actually serving their audience by introducing you. And when you make sales from that audience, you simply split the revenue. They provide the audience, you provide the offer, and both sides win. But here's the exact step you need to take to make this happen, because if you get this wrong, you'll just be hit with no after no after no. What you need to do is make a list of all the people in your industry who already have the audience that you want to get in front of. So for example, if you have a nutritional program, you might partner with someone in the fitness or weightlifting space because they have the audience that cares about nutrition, but they don't currently have an offer that serves that audience on that specific topic. And so now you're not competing, you're actually complementing each other. You bring something valuable to their audience, they bring the audience to you, and together you create revenue without needing to build your own following from scratch. So for strategy number 4, I want to show you how you can start putting this entire system on autopilot without needing to do more stuff. In fact, once you understand this 4th strategy, you should be able to do less in your marketing and still grow consistently. For every business out there, the biggest bottleneck is simply getting new clients. Most business owners have to wonder where their next lead or next sale is coming from, and so they spend 99% of their time on marketing the business, trying to find those new clients. And if you ignore it, of course, your business dries up. But what if I told you that if you focused more attention on the 1% you're currently ignoring, then you wouldn't need to worry nearly as much about the marketing to find new clients? This 1% shift is how you serve your clients once they're in your business, because how are you supposed to get clients results if you're constantly chasing the next? It's like a snake eating its own tail. You just never get ahead. Imagine it like this. Your business is a bucket and every client you bring in is water you're pouring into it. But if your product isn't getting people the results that they want as quickly or as consistently, as they need, then there are holes in the bottom. So every client comes in and eventually leaks straight back out again. What most people do is they don't fix the holes. Instead, they just try to pour more water in, more ads, more content, more outreach, more marketing, and wonder why they feel exhausted. Because no matter how much effort you put into getting new clients, you always end up back at zero. So the question becomes, how exactly do we fix this? We shift our focus away from constantly chasing new clients and onto getting incredible results for the clients we already have. Because when you do that, your clients become your best marketing asset. They start referring new people to you. They start sharing their results with other people who might be interested in working with you. And furthermore, those clients are now so happy with you that they'll keep paying to stay in your programs and in your world, therefore generating more revenue for you in the long run. What we're talking about here is how you create a business that grows without needing to constantly feed it, and it can be done by following the 3C system. The first C is coaching. We need to offer support to our clients so they have someone in their corner. It's not enough to just give someone the information they need to get a result. We need to go through it with them, help them through every challenge. That way, they are far more likely to succeed. The second C is community, because when someone is trying to solve a problem on their own, it can feel incredibly isolating, as if they're the only one going through it. But when you put them in a room, even a virtual one, or even a group chat with other people on the same journey, that's where transformation starts to happen. This way, it stops being a solo journey and becomes a shared one, which massively increases the likelihood that they stick with it and therefore get the result in the end. The third C is case studies, and this is where everything starts to compound. When your clients get results and you capture those results properly, you now have proof, which can become your greatest marketing asset. And this is where things start to snowball, because now you're not just relying on constant effort to grow. You've built a system, a powerful system, where results create referrals, referrals bring in new clients get results, and the cycle continues. So instead of constantly pouring more water into the bucket, you fix the holes and results compound. So now you understand what an authority brand is, joint ventures, what we do with clients once we have them to maximize revenue. We need a system to generate those first few clients to make this whole thing work. This video here will break down my entire client acquisition model, and I'm confident you'll love it. So check it out and I'll see you there.